easy to find? I hope.
I think the flyer said it's, near the McDonald's car park.
Yeah.
But if it had said it's at the back of the Wayfarer building, that was the clue that I was missing.
Okay, good. Good to know that. So we'll put that in the next slide.
It says 120 Eastern Valley Way.
Yeah.
But there's no sort of numbers. There's no numbers anywhere. So I thought, because I thought, well, maybe it's back to the church. And then I thought, it looks a bit racial for a young sort of meditation. It just says near the God's car.
Yeah, that was me trying to be too clever.
Okay.
So if it's at,
Wayfarer building. Okay.
Okay, good too.
No.
That's what's happened. Wayfarer hasn't gotten on there.
This address is not complete.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's such a landmark.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just the back of the Wayfarer.
Yeah.
No.
There's Lydia joined it.
Hi everyone, welcome. This is our hybrid meditation class tonight. So we've got, we're here in the Wayfarer building and you're part of our audience as well. So hearty welcome to you all. I'm Lynn.
I am Gulshan.
We've got John and Eric and Surrender here as well. So what we'll do is we'll just talk about what it is we're doing in this meditation and how we get into that meditation. Gulshan will take us through actually starting our meditation journey and refreshment for those of you who have done it before. And then we'll have a couple of meditations as well, and we'll talk a little bit about one of our energy centres, the heart. Afterwards, have a little bit of extra meditation and a special treat tonight. We've got live music in that we've got someone who'll be playing for us, a young Canberran who's going to come online and play an original composition for our meditation. So we'll have a nice musical meditation for our second longer meditation as well. So try not to think about it too much. We will explain it for your benefit, of course. But the idea is that we feel that thoughtless state, and it's a very joyful and feeling of love within ourselves. So it's that feeling rather than the thinking about it. Yes, you noticed that, Eric, we've taken our shoes off. So any of you in our online audience, please feel free to take your shoes off. So we want to be in touch with Mother Nature as far as possible. Good, you picked up on that, Eric?
Yes, I sort of noticed that.
Oh, yes.
Barefoot and socks and barefoot.
Yeah.
So I opened the door.
Great.
So you can still be seated on your very comfortable chair or wherever you wish, just the shoes need to be taken off, that's all.
If you do wish to sit in the lotus position, you are also welcome to do that. But we're all going to sit on a chair.
Yeah. Okay, so we might just get started. Surrender, if I might just ask you to please zoom to the chart, and Eric, you can watch this one, which is right in front of you here. So just going to...
I'll be the pointer person.
Thank you, Lynn. Just going to explain very briefly the internal part of a subtle system and what this meditation is about. It is called Sahaja Yoga, and it was started by Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, the lady in the picture. She was born in India, but she started this meditation primarily in UK and in India at the same time. She was living in the UK because her husband was posted to the International Maritime Organization. He was the Secretary General for 16 years. She started in 1970 at the time when the world was quite a bit in a bit of turmoil with Cold War, and also people were seeking, and she was concerned that a lot of Indian gurus were coming overseas with so-called yoga, but they were actually harming the seekers rather than helping them. The inner subtle system, right at the base of the spine, see the little triangle area, that's the sacrum bone within us. Each one of us have it. And there's a coiled up energy called Kundalini, that's a Sanskrit term. Each one of us is born with this energy within us. And she's our mother that is within us, sleeping at the moment, resident, dormant, and waiting to be awakened. And it is through Shri Mataji and Sahaja Yoga that energy is awakened straight away. First time you come here today, when you go home, you will go home as a person with being united with your energy within yourself. And also, as she rises, she comes to those little chakras or energy wheels that are situated in our body, and they're on our organs within us. And each one of those chakras has a special quality about them. So for instance, the first one is the innocence, which is right at the base, and that is within us all. Then creativity. Yeah. And then there's number 2 is creativity, and then the third one is peace and love. We're going to pay a little bit more attention on that love and the heart within us. So for instance, if you're quite an anxious person and you get quite nervous very easily, that means there's a weakness on that chakra within us. And so as the Kundalini rises, she works out where the weakness is, and then she works on that affected chakra within us by herself. And as she comes up through the 5th and the 6th chakra, and through the 7th one, at the moment, humanity is sort of sitting on the number 6 chakra. We're into a lot of thinking, planning, organizing. And Shri Mataji gives us this little gift where, as the Kundalini rises, she also connects us through the 7th chakra, which is the main one where the Kundalini rises and comes out of the fontanelle bone, which is a soft part on top of our head that the children are born with. There's a soft part that moves. That's the fontanelle bone area. As the Kundalini rises through us and comes out from the top of the head, which is called as the 7th chakra, the Sahasrara chakra within us, which has 1,000-petaled lotus, so it has 1,000 qualities that are within our head or our brain. And as the Kundalini comes through, it also sort of brings us into balance. So you notice there's a blue line and a yellow line. The blue line is to do with our past, our desires, our feelings, empathy. And the yellow line is what manages our side of action. So the moon side and the sun side, the feminine side and the masculine side. Those are the 2 aspects of a personality. When either of those personalities are overused, that's when there's a little problem that happens within us. So if you've overused a blue side, people usually get into depression, quite lethargic, things are very difficult, waking up in the morning. On the other hand, if you've gone too much into your right side, which is the yellow side, overused side, and that's when we tend to become quite assertive, aggressive, dominating. So sort of the other extreme of a personality that is exposed and visible. So either of those 2 extremes are not desirable or we need to be in. So the idea is to be, yes, you have to do things, you have to organize things, and you have to work with people, but there's a way to do it and not to be in the extremes. So the Kundalini brings us into balance. And so you're not trying to be on either of those extremes. And you may have noticed the hand on the chart. Again, it's got colors on the fingertips. So each of our fingertip is connected to the chakras within us. And that's really useful because as the Kundalini rises and she informs us if there's a problem, for instance, with the heart within us, we will feel a bit of tingling sensation on our fingertips, on that finger, because that's connected with the heart. So that's how your hands communicate. They communicate with us and inform us there's a problem here or a problem there. And that could be something that we are born with, that's part of our family, our ancestors, or also part of what our personality is made of, or even as simple as being at work, dealing with A, B, and C, and whatever the problems are, you may have picked those up, and your hands tell you there's a problem here today, so you need to clear it out. And it's very easy to clear out too. So that we'll show you today too. And the last bit that I should mention before we actually get on to the end of talking and practical but feeling, this meditation is all about feeling. Shri Mataji wanted us to feel it within ourselves. So if you notice those two big balloons on the top of the head, so the yellow bit sits at the front, that's our ego, and the blue bit goes to the back of our head, and that's our superego. So what happens with that is in our day-to-day lives, we're thinking all the time. If we're thinking about the past, about what happened yesterday and what was said to me yesterday, then we're in the back of our head. We're in the superego. We're stuck in that sphere of our personality. And if you're always thinking about the future, worrying about the future, thinking, and your fears are all about the future, and you're always trying to plan about tomorrow and the next day and the next week and the next year, then you're stuck here in the ego. You don't want to be in either of those things, but it's very hard to get out because they enlarge and cover up our brain. But again, thankfully, as the Kundalini rises, and she rises by herself, and of course our desire is important, and Shri Mataji allows that to happen. As the Kundalini rises, she comes up through here, and when she comes through this little part here, which is quite narrow actually, she sucks in the expansion of ego and superego. And as those two major constitutions or institutions are sucked, it clears up, makes space here. And so we sort of we can step away from our thoughts of the past and thoughts of the future and be in a state of silence. Mental silence is what we talk about, and this is something we will experience today as well, where you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, and you're trying not to have too many thoughts right now, or the light is blue, or the flowers look good. You're just going to be in a state of thoughtless awareness, where you're aware of your surroundings, but your thoughts really settle down. And that's a really, really nice place to be. And that is being in meditation. So you don't have to focus, you don't have to force, you just let it happen. And the Kundalini, as she comes up, she allows us to experience that really, really lovely state. And we will go through our realization. It's called realization, where you connect with the mothering energy. She's awakened, she rises, and as she comes up and pierces through the top, the number 7th chakra within us, that's where we get a connection. And that's just a 10-minute process that we will go through. Do you have any questions so far, Eric?
No. It's been,
okay, so that's quite simple and easy. So that is sort of the map of our subtle system. And you don't need to worry too much about it. Now we'll more so focus how we feel within ourselves. So each one of us, when we go through this process of realization, and Sahaja Yoga sort of means that yoga means the union. That's the Sanskrit translation, and it is our union with our mothering energy within us, the Kundalini.
So I'll just ask Surrender to put the camera on, please.
Okay, thank you. So there's been a lot talked about the Kundalini. There's been a lot of scare campaigns as well, how it's quite dangerous. And it was more put out by people who really didn't know what it was. And rather than investigate and find out, they just thought it's too difficult, we are not going to mention. But it is actually quite an easy thing. But you need the right kind of teacher to help you have that. This knowledge is actually very ancient and old knowledge. In the past, you needed a special teacher, and you went to them and they would help you cleanse one chakra at a time, and that could take a long time, and you needed a lot of patience, and you were often away from your families, and eventually you got your realization and your connection with the power that manages this world once you connect through here. That was very laborious, it was a very long process, and we human beings were used to fast things, and so Shri Mataji sort of worked out a method or a way by which we get our realization straight away and our connection straight away, and then she enables us to be able to go home and work on our subtle system. And then when you come back here, we're here each week, we sort of teach you how to then work on your chakras slowly. And I hope that's all clear so far.
Yeah.
Great, okay. So shall we go through the realization process then?
Sure.
And online too, if you have any questions, please hold them, because at the end we will have a few minutes, and you're very welcome to ask questions if you have. So shoes off, and we will work on our left side, that's the side of emotion, and we will use our right hand and we'll place it on various parts of our body, and I'll guide you where to place your hand. And the hands will be open, palm up, so that's the way to receive, you're asking for it. And we will address the mothering energy, the Kundalini within us quietly. You can close your eyes. That is quite helpful to bring the attention in, but if you wish to keep your eyes open, then you can watch this photo of Shri Mataji here. The reason why we use Shri Mataji's photo is her vibrations are exceptionally strong, and because she allowed this process to be delivered en masse to people free of charge. It's almost like having a really big magnet, so that our kundalinis within us respond exceptionally well to her vibrations. I will take my glasses off. If anyone else wishes to, you're very, very welcome to. So hands in our lap, I will close my eyes, and we just bring our attention inside. And just watch your breathing. So we are going to place our right hand on the left heart, on the left-hand side of our body. And here we will ask ourselves a question quietly. Mother Kundalini, who am I? And what is my purpose on this earth? Our right hand will stay on the left-hand side of our body, so we'll just move it under the heart area on the upper part of the rib cage. And here we are going to ask ourselves, Mother Kundalini, am I my own master? Am I my own teacher? Or do I just follow everybody else? Now we take a hand, again on the left-hand side, and place it on the area where the leg meets the body, so sort of in the crease on the left-hand side. This is the area of pure knowledge and pure desire within us. So here, please, with all your heart, we are going to place our desire, use our desire to ask for the pure knowledge. And the pure knowledge is the knowledge of our connection with the mothering energy, the Kundalini. So please say a few times, Mother Kundalini, please give me the pure knowledge. Mother Kundalini, please give me the pure knowledge. Mother Kundalini, please give me the pure knowledge. And as soon as we do that, she starts to rise. And now we're going to take a hand back to the upper part of the ribcage, under the heart area. And here we're going to affirm a few times. And again, you can address it to Shri Mataji. You can address her as Mother or Shri Mataji, or you can address this to the Kundalini, the mothering energy within us. So Mother Kundalini, I am my own master. Mother Kundalini, by your grace, I am my own teacher. So it is really important for us to not follow anything and anyone. We have to learn to be our own teachers and our own masters, and to do the right thing by us. And that right thing usually means doing the right thing by our spirit, and doing the right thing by our ascent. So just affirm a few times. Mother Kundalini, by your grace, I am my own teacher. Mother Kundalini, by your grace, I am my own teacher. And bringing a hand back up onto our heart. This is the area of the spirit within us. So we're going to affirm a few times. Shri Mataji, by your grace, I am the spirit. Mother Kundalini, by your grace, I am the spirit. So I'm not this body, I am not my mind, my thoughts, my worries, my angst, my fears. I'm none of those, but I am the spirit. I am the spirit. So we take our right hand and place it on the left-hand side of the neck. So as you do that, just move your head towards your right shoulder. So you can place your hand nicely on your neck on the left-hand side. And this is the area where we tend to often feel quite guilty for things we haven't done, for circumstances we haven't caused. There's a tendency in our personalities sometimes to just feel guilty. And now it's time to not worry about that guilt, not be consumed by that guilt. So we're going to say a few times, Mother Kundalini, I am not guilty. Mother Kundalini, I am not guilty. Mother Kundalini, by your grace, I am not guilty. It is important not to feel guilt, because if we do feel guilty, this area tends to get quite blocked up, and then it's very hard for the Kundalini to rise. So just a few times, Mother Kundalini, I am not guilty. Mother Kundalini, I am not guilty. And now we're going to bring our hand and place it across our forehead. And as you do that, just cradle your head into your hand. And you can apply a little bit of pressure with your fingertips and the palm to the sides of your head. And this is the area of forgiveness within us. So without thinking of any one particular person or a circumstance or a situation, we are just going to generally forgive everyone. So let's just say a few times, I forgive everyone. I forgive everyone. Mother Kundalini, by your grace, I forgive everyone. Now you can place your hand at the back of your head, and as you do that, just tip your head up towards the sky. And here we are going to forgive ourselves. So just affirm a few times, Mother Kundalini, by your grace, please forgive me. Please forgive me for my past, and please forgive me for my mistakes. Mother Kundalini, by your grace, please forgive me. And now for the last and most important one, if you place the palm, your right hand palm, on top of your head, which is the fontanelle bone area, and as you do that, just tip your head forward again, bring your head forward, so you're making contact with the palm of your hand onto the fontanelle bone area. You're going to apply good pressure, and that's usually quite easy if you just lift your fingers away from your hand. And we're going to rotate our hand in a clockwise direction. So the movement is starting from our left. Move your hand forward, to your right, to the back of your head, to your left, forward, right, back, left, forward, right and back. That's the movement. And here, because Shri Mataji values our freedom, we have to ask for our self-realization. So please, with all your heart, please ask, Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realization. Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realization. Shri Mataji, please give me my self-realization. Mother Kundalini, please rise, please rise, please rise and let me feel your connection on top of my head. Please let me feel your love within me. Please let me feel your presence within me. Keeping your attention on the top of your head, you can bring your hand onto your lap, palm up, and just take your attention back to the top of your head and just watch that space. Just for a moment, we are going to watch that space with our attention. Our eyes are closed. You just very slowly open your eyes. You can see things around you, you can hear things around you. Just pause for a moment and reflect inside. You may feel a very gentle, cool, breath-like air on your hands, on the palms, or you may also feel it on the top of your head. So you can try it with your right hand, just bring it up to the top of your head, a couple of inches up. You may just have to hover your hand a little bit to find that spot. Some of us may also feel warm air initially, and that's quite normal. As Kundalini rises and she's clearing, we may often feel warm We'll try it with the other hand as well. So try it with the left hand. The reason why we're using two hands is because sometimes one side or one hand is clearer than the other. Bring your hand back down. And as the Kundalini rises, one of the first things that she does for us is our breathing slows down a little bit. And we feel peaceful inside. And just watch whether you have thoughts or they have just gone away for a moment. And there is that silence within us. And that is the first step of being in meditation. It may only be for about 5 seconds, but when you've felt it, you know it. And this is just the first bit of the meditation that we went through. And by the time we've been through a little bit more with Lynn, the experience is often a lot stronger. We won't put you on the spot just as yet, Eric, but if there's anything you felt, you're welcome to share. Otherwise, we can move on to the next thing.
Well, I felt very peaceful, and it was really good to think about those things that you talked about.
Yeah.
Which in a normal rush of the day in life, you have no time for it.
No time.
Yeah, because we're so busy with our worries or with things, there's so much in here sometimes. Over to you, Lynn, with the next bit.
So we'll try to maintain that nice meditative feeling that Gulshan's taken us to. So we'll just do a little bit of clearing and then try to meditate on our heart a bit. So to clear our entire left channel, it's quite easy. So we just push our right hand down towards the earth. So just drop it down. If we were sitting on the grass outside, you could put your right hand actually on the earth. But our right hand is towards the earth. Our left hand is open on our lap. We can again just close our eyes and keep our attention back up where we were feeling on the top of our head earlier. And we're just asking our Mother Kundalini to please clear my left side of the past, of my desires, any impure desire, please clear from my left side into the Mother Earth.
So Eric, the left hand is...
left hand on your lap.
On your lap. Your left hand is...
The other left hand.
Yeah, and the right hand goes towards the earth.
Same for everyone online. Left hand
and if you just open it out, it's easier. That's
and
right.
The right hand down to the ground. Sorry, I had my eyes shut. I wasn't watching.
That's okay. Our cameraman, he is very
alert.
On the roll. Alert. Thank you, Surendra.
So just taking our attention back up on the top of our head, and we're just allowing our Kundalini energy to do the cleaning job. Just suck out any impurity, any desire that's not our desire to be one with our spirit, to be loosened and sucked out into the earth. Mother, please clear my left side. And just bringing that right hand, the one that's down on the earth, back on our lap, open. And we'll clear the other side, the right side. So we're bending our left hand up with our palm facing behind us. That's it. And again, we're asking, Mother, please clear my right side of action. take out any heat from my overthinking into the atmosphere, bringing me more into the present. And again, our attention is on the top of our head while our Kundalini does the job of clearing, bringing us into the present. Just paying attention what's happening on top of my head. And bringing that hand down on our lap. And just while we're still in that meditative state, we'll take our right hand onto our center heart. And here's where that feeling of motherhood, the mother of the universe, is residing to protect us and give us the strength to follow our true desire, our pure desire to be one with the Spirit. So we're asking her, Mother, please give me the strength and courage to follow my spirit. And it's interesting, our spirit resides in our heart, watching our activities, watching our thoughts. And then when we get our realization, the seat of our heart and our spirit is on top of our head. So let's now take our hand onto the top of our head, that fontanelle area where Gulshan got us to put our hand earlier. And we're asking Mother, all-pervading motherly energy, please strengthen and establish my realization. You can still rotate the scalp a little. And raising the hand up, just see if you can feel that coolness, that breath, subtle wind on top of your head. It could be hot, could be cool, could be far away, or it could be close. And then bringing both hands down in your lap. We will now watch a 5-minute video excerpt of Shri Mataji talking about the heart chakra, and after that we'll have a lovely musical meditation with our lovely young fellow who's going to join us online while we meditate with the piano music. So I'll just enlarge my screen here so that we can watch that video, us here. Oops.
So while Lynn gets that ready, Eric, we'll just have our hands in that position. And if you're too far away, you're welcome to come a bit closer if it helps you to just see it a bit better. There are subtitles under the talk.
Sorry?
There's subtitles as well, so it should be easy.
So now we have the center, another center which is very important, is the center of heart, central heart we call it, is the center of the mother of the universe. In Sanskrit, she is called as Jagadamba. She is the one who stays there and gives you the sense of security. She looks after the saints who are trying to get out of this green thing. We call it as the ocean of illusion. She protects them, she gives them all the help, all the guidance, and tries to pull them out of the illusion. And this is the way she kills all the devils and the demons who are like fake gurus trying to put down the seekers into the illusion more. She's the one who's the remover of illusion. And this incarnates again and again on this earth to help the seekers to get out of the ocean of illusion. But when this center is in childhood, starts pulsating first, the sternum bone creates lots of antibodies, and these are actually the soldiers of the mother, and they go and get distributed in the whole body. When you see something coming upon you, you get a fear and you get a palpitation in here. That time, that frequency of palpitation informs these antibodies to be alert, to fight the person who is trying to attack you. And that's why it is important to understand that this center builds up your sense of security. If this center is disturbed, your sense of security can be disturbed. Now the disease of this center is mainly breast cancer. When a woman is insecure in her life, she feels insecure, then she develops this trouble. When she is insecure as a mother, she gets this trouble of breast cancer. Now doctors won't believe it, but I have cured many breast cancers, and that can easily be cured by awakening this special power of the motherhood within you. You just become self-confident, and the disease is completely cured, eradicated, without going into any operation or anything like that. Now there are two other centers you see. The one on the right is of your own father, and the left is of your own mother. Or we can say is of fatherhood and motherhood. If you have been a bad father, or if your father has been not nice to you, this center suffers. If this center suffers, then you get the disease called asthma. Asthma can only be cured if you tell the person who is a Sahaja Yogi about your father, what the problem is, if your father has died, if he suddenly died, if you are missing him, or if there is a problem with your own child, anything like that. The quality of fatherhood is represented by that. The left side is the mother's thing. If the mother is not being very kind to the child could be erratic and could be very volcanic and temperamental, very temperamental he becomes. If he had not seen his mother, or mother has been a very unkind person, then such a person can be absolutely insecure all the time and could be all the time demanding attention from others and would be very, very aggressive on that point. So this is what it is. One has to understand that these two centers within us are important. After Sahaja Yoga, you start understanding your parents. Even if they have been very nasty to you, you try to forgive them, and they also come round very well, and good relations are established with parents. Because you are seekers, sometimes the parents don't understand you, because they have no seeking. That's the age group which may not understand your seeking. But when they see this transformation coming into you, then you completely change. You are completely changed. I'll give you an example of a Swiss Sahaja Yogi who came to me, who has written a very big book on Sahaja Yoga called Advent. This boy had a father who was leading a life away from the family, gave up the mother, and he used to have some sort of a relationship, and he never had any good relations with his children. But when this boy came to Sahaja Yoga and his younger brother and his sister, he was amazed how they were transformed. Their ideas were transformed. They were leading such a nice life, very sane life, and that they were looking after him also, and they were doing whatever is possible to make him happy. And this amazed him, because not like other children who just try to all the time say sharp things to the father and all that. Now, one day, one of the Sahaja Yoginis met him in a hotel somewhere, and another person started discussing about Sahaja Yoga. He said, I wish I was born at a time when Sahaja Yoga had started, because I would not have wasted my life like that. So the parents start seeing that how my children are changing, and then they take to your style of life, betterment of everything.
So we'll have that next meditation now, and I think we'll hear some lovely music now from our young piano player, who's just going to, the music will join us in a second, so we'll just go into that meditative state a little more. While we're getting to that point, there's a shortcut for raising our Kundalini and protecting ourselves, which is the way we meditate from now on daily. And it's quite simple. We're using that left and right hand. We call it raising your Kundalini. So the left hand raises up, so that's the one of desire, and the right hand, we have the right hand winding around. So we keep our right hand busy, going around the left one of desire, and we look up and tie a knot. So we do that 3 times for each channel. So 1 knot, tie a knot. Second time, second time the left hand's going up. And we'll tie 2 knots for the second channel. And then the third time, our attention's on that left hand raising up, tying 3 knots for the third channel, symbolizing our desire to keep our attention up on our 7th chakra. And now with those vibrations, we're going to protect ourselves. So we're going to put a little rainbow over ourselves, over and back 7 times with that right hand, over and back 7 times, so that we're giving ourselves a nice wash with vibrations. And it just stops any stray thoughts or strange vibrations coming from the outside and disturbing our subtle energy system. And we'll do that quite a lot of times, so you'll get to know that and be familiar with that. So it's one of the things we do quite often to start and finish our meditation. So not necessarily that you need to go through the affirmations each time, but simply just raise your Kundalini and put on that bandhan. And then you can actually feel those vibrations, and that meditation starts just by doing that. And we'll have that music coming on in a minute, but let's just, we'll just close our eyes, and we'll be awash with lovely music at the appropriate moment. So even if you feel some thoughts are coming, just with your right hand, raise your Kundalini energy up to the top of your head a few times. And then keeping your hands open in your lap, just allowing your eyes to close if you feel comfortable. If any thoughts come, we'll just say, not this thought, not this thought. And just feel our attention on top of our head. And with our breathing, it starts to slow. was lovely. If you all enjoyed that. Let's finish off our meditation by raising our Kundalini with our hands. Tying the knot. And the third time, 3 knots. Protecting our entire system with our hand. So we're just washing over our entire body, over all of our chakras, protecting ourselves with our vibrations. It's approximately 7 times over and back. So it's amazing the sound of music played by somebody who's a realised soul, and it does affect our meditation. So I don't know if you felt, I certainly felt that was very nice. And thank you to Manu for enabling that, and also looking after our technicalities on the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It was
Manu.
very nice.
And thank you to the person who played the music
Yes,
too.
and, wonderful. Very good. I hope we can have that again sometime soon.
Okay. Sorry. Can't talk.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, no,
that's
it's nice meditation.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Easy. We'll be back.
Excellent, excellent. All right, well, we might finish off now online. Maybe we'll put on a little bit of music for those who are online, and I think we've got Lydia there on Zoom with us. Lydia, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can put a message on the chat, or we can unmute you as well if you wanted to speak, join us at all, but no pressure.
You can continue to meditate if you wish.
And for those of you who want to continue on meditating for a bit, we've got a little bit of music that Manu might put on for everyone, and we'll say good night.
Thank you for joining, and we'll
Thanks.
see you next Monday.
Yep, see you next week. Probably the Vishuddhi will do a bit more music next week, I think.
So, Eric, you've had your realization, you've come today. Now, the question is, now what? And it is, the ball is in some ways in your court, and it doesn't require a lot to do. It's just if you can, perhaps maybe 4 to 5 minutes in the evening or in the morning when there's a quiet space and time, you can just raise your Kundalini, as Lynn showed us, put the bandhan on, and that we do it 7 times.